Self-awareness is not a destination. It is definitely something that we will have to work on progressively, each and every day by day. It is not something that we achieve and we go on a woo-ha moment, I have achieved it, and you move on. No. Hello and welcome back to Mindfulness Beyond the Mind podcast. I am your host, Ginele Make, and I'm so grateful to have you join me as we continue the journey that began with our first episode titled Genesis. For those joining us for the first time, Genesis set the stage for the journey we are embarking on of unpacking and uncovering our self-awareness, mental health, and the intricacies of trauma and all the works. So as we dive deep today on today's episodes, we are going to focus on a theme that is fundamental on any journey of self-awareness, self-discovery, as well as growth. We are exploring self-awareness. Now, I know somebody might say, oh, that is so simple. Self-awareness is all about knowing who you are, right? Well, I'm sorry to bust your bubble. Self-awareness is much more layered, much more nuanced than just finding out your favorite food, your job title, or even the name of your hometown. Self-awareness, it is much more deeper. Self-awareness, it is about understanding not only the dynamics of who you are on the surface, but also is about understanding your deep motivations, your dreams, your aspirations, your fears in life. So it is also about the aspects of self-identity that shapes your joy, pain, triumph, and traumas alike. Self-awareness is more like a process of peeling off the layers, more like an onion. And it is also a process where you get to peel off those layers. And the more you peel off, the closer you get to your core, the closer you get to understanding how you identify with the world, what drives you, and also your interactions with others around you. Self-awareness as a concept starts with embarking on a journey. So let's start with the concept of self-identity first. Self-identity can be described as a blueprint that defines who we are in our values, our beliefs, and our interactions with the world. Self-identity was built for us through our family cultures, our family backgrounds, the people that we are in relationships with, also about the many choices that we had to make along the way. I know it can be daunting and difficult at times, but also with the process of self-awareness, you get to be in a space where you're operating on a higher vibration. I know at times we don't have an opportunity to stop and ask ourselves and just breathe and just ask, who am I really and what do I want my life to be about? That is what we are going to explore today. The concept of self-awareness is really intricate and it has many layers as I've explained. But as you navigate the complexities of your life, you get to realize that you are somebody besides the things that you have acquired in life. You need to identify who you really are in that process. The concept of self-awareness for me, I believe the first step is self-reflection. With self-reflections, you really get to a space where you unpack everything as you go. With self-reflections, I know it can be uncomfortable at times, especially when you have to be truly honest with yourself, when you have to come face to face with areas of your life that you would rather ignore and avoid completely, like the past mistakes, the regrets you have, the missed opportunities, or even something as small as the qualities that of your life that you don't really want to identify or aspire to, but they are embedded in you. That is self-reflection. And sometimes life can get really busy and you can get lost because you're being pulled in all sorts of directions, whether it be the demands of your job, a new relationship, you've just become a mom, you got married, all of those things. Even the self aspect of life that shifts your thinking can really interfere with the process of self-awareness. But as I've said, taking a moment to stopping and breathing and ask yourself, Who am I and what do I really want out of this life? Sometimes you can go as far as when you look into the mirror, are you willing to only see the things that you already know on the surface? Like, oh, I know I've got a beautiful skin, you have a beautiful smile, my eyes, and all of that. Or are you willing to see past all of the things that you already know and find out who are you really? That is self-reflection. Now, for me, I have a personal story of my own self reflection or the journey I went to for my self awareness. But before I get to that, I just want to emphasize that life is a way of providing moments of deep self reflections for us. Sometimes those moments can be presented to us in the form of life changing events. It can be a change in career. It can be that you are in a new relationship. It can be even losing a loved one, or even something along the lines of a personal aspect that interferes with your plans in life. When that happens, I think it is an important moment for us to really reevaluate what is happening in our life, sit with those emotions, and in that moment, really get to identify and ask ourselves the deep questions. Who am I? And what do I really want out of my life? For me, 2 months ago, I went through a life changing experience. We went through a restructure at work, and it eventually led to me being retrenched. When that happened, my gosh, was I not gutted? I was just like, is this really happening to me? And I think because most of the time I'm on the other side being an HR professional, I'm the one delivering the news to people that the company is going to go through these changes. So when it happened to me, I was really in shock, and it was like a bittersweet pill to swallow. I really never anticipated that it will happen to me. And when it happened, I had to go through a deep process of asking myself, outside of this job, who am I and what am I outside of this job? Outside of waking up in the morning saying I'm going to work, outside of the job title, what am I and who am I? So I went through that journey. I even went as far as comparing it to the process of losing a loved one, because it was all those emotions that I felt like I don't know if I'm coming or going. I am in limbo. I am so confused. What am I going to do without a job? So all of those things, it's some of the things that you will identify with when you're experiencing loss. But the difference between the two is that with losing a loved one, that person, your identity was truly entrenched in the memories that you built together. It was that person who helped you get to where you wanted to be in life, who was able to keep you in check, who told you when you were wrong, who helped you progress in life, who supported your dreams and your desires, who was there every step of the way. Losing them, it was hard, and it's different to losing a job. That is when I had my own aha moment, a penny drop moment, an awakening moment, where I realized that the two can actually not be the same. Because with losing a loved one, you are never going to get them back. You are never going to be able to call that person up. You are never going to be able to see them, hug them, and enjoy life with them. Whereas with a job, yes, you lose it, but the good thing about it is that tomorrow, next year, whenever the opportunity presents itself, you can get another job. So that is when I had my own awakening moment. And in that moment, I had to sit with the emotions and not ignore them. I had to name the situation, name the feeling, and unpack it as I went on with life. And for me, that is when everything changed and shifted. For me, it was a moment where I realized that when the familiar thing crumbles, normally as individuals, we tend to then go into this space of not knowing how to identify ourselves and who we are apart from that. But it is also an opportunity for us to truly go on a self identity journey, go on a self awareness journey. It is where we become our greatest and biggest self during uncertain time, during changing times, during when new opportunities and new experiences present itself. That is when you get to be your best self and get to know yourself better. So with That's my own personal experience that I went through that led me to really going back and unpacking everything. And I remember even I wrote in my journal in 2021 that I wanted to start a podcast. And because I was swallowed in my work, too focused on my work, it was work, 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 and no moment to really stop and pursue my passions that I'm really blessed with, that God has blessed me with. And when that opportunity presented itself and I opened my journal and I came across my podcast idea that I wanted to go on, that I prayed for in my prayer journal, that for me was like, okay, here's the thing. I went to God and I asked for this thing. Why did I not pursue it? Maybe this is a great opportunity to reconnect with it and ask God to guide me as I go through this process. And that's the reason why I'm sitting here today. I have a podcast and I'm so grateful for how the experience unfolded. I wouldn't have it any other way. For me, 2024 will definitely go down as one of the years where the greatest redemption stories came out of, where I get to really go on a journey of self identity, of self awareness, of sitting in the moment and not ignoring it and dealing with it on a need basis. So that is my personal story. Going back to self awareness, self awareness for me is very important because it helps us as we progress in life. It is also a space where we get to really sit with the emotions, sit with who we are, sit with what we really want to be in life. So, becoming self aware for me, I would say it is more on a level of knowing that life will offer you the good and the achievement, but it will also offer you the missteps, the doubts, the fears. And the moment you get to appreciate both and accept both, that is where you get to be your truest self. In life, you will have light moment, but with light, there is a shadow that you need to accommodate. So, self awareness is more like that journey. You need to be able to recognize and accept both those worlds because it is in those moments where you get to really know and appreciate that I'm not where I wanted to be, but I'm grateful that I will get there when the time allows. Even though it is not now, even though I don't see it, but I know that it is destined for me to get to where I want to be. Continuously working on yourself so that when you get to that space, you are able to fully experience it and fully be present and be in the moment. Exploring self awareness for me comes in two folds. I always go to journaling as a way of unpacking how I'm feeling, unpacking the emotions, writing down what I'm grateful for, how the day went by, what I felt. So, journaling for me is a very powerful tool that helps us cultivate and articulate our thoughts, writing down our feelings into words, helping us unpack the emotions. And in the end, it builds patterns that you will be proud and surprised about yourself, that is this really me? So I always go back and read my journal. For me, it is a way of reflecting, it is a way of finding out where I'm at. Have I dealt with that specific thing, and how am I feeling right now? Another element that I use as a practice of self-awareness is meditation. Meditation is not always about quietening the mind entirely. Sometimes it is about observing the thoughts that you have. It is about seeing the thought. It is about sitting with the emotions. It is about identifying and naming those emotions and being fully present with those emotions in a quiet space. So, taking time out of your day to do a mindful breathing can also have a significant shift in your life as you progress and you encounter yourself and try to identify who are you and what do you want your life to really be about. So those are the two practices that I really always go to for self-awareness, coupled with prayer, coupled with Bible reading, and all the other materials that are helpful and resources that are helpful as we go on our self-awareness journey. As we near the end of our episode today, I want to leave you with a penny drop moment. A penny drop moment, as I said, it will help us to progress in life, to be motivated, and to remember that we're definitely not alone and we will walk this journey together. So, here is a penny drop moment. Self awareness is not a destination, it is definitely something that we will have to work on progressively each and every day by day. It is not something that we achieve and we go on a woo-ha moment, I have achieved it, and you move on. No. Self awareness is a day thing that you always have to identify and look into. With self awareness, you take gentle steps forward. With self awareness, you give grace to yourself. With self awareness, you also stay in the moment and you unpack and you identify, who am I and what do I really want my life to be about? So, as you explore yourself and the self awareness journey, I hope you get to be in a space that is enlightening, a space that allows you to identify, a space that supports where you are in life. And I hope you take that and you run with it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward for us to continue this journey together. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like this episode, share it with people that you care about, leave a comment for us, and also turn on your notification bell to know when we upload the next episode. Until next time, I hope that you take gentle steps forward. I hope that you become present in the moment, and I hope you give yourself grace. Thank you, and bye.